go. Going live. Instagram is live and YouTube is live. Excellent connection. James, how are you doing? All right, here we go. So, I'm going to be working on James Anthony's, the last two, his pencils. He's been gracious enough to send these pencils over to me digitally. And then, of course, I've blown it up to 13 by 19. And then I've been inking, doing my own variant inking on there. If you're on Instagram, Shelob's Layer of Drawing is where you can find more of the amazing artwork by James Anthony. So this here you see is a mask. So I've cut this mask and I'll be coming back to this a little later because I have today's work laid out very nicely for me right here in this little list. So the first thing it says wet sock rock texture. And what that means is, where did you go? Oh, before I get going. So tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States, I will be going live with the Drawn Sword, who right now we're running a pre-order sales campaign to get 30 copies pre-ordered so we can get the 50 copies printed and shipped to the US so we can reduce the cost on shipping out of New Zealand, where it'll be Saturday morning at 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for us on the East Coast of the United States, but it'll be 9 a.m. in New Zealand. So you'll be able to see and ask questions of Drawn Sword and check out more of his amazing 32-page concept art book. This is the back of the cover. It's actually a wraparound cover. So you can see here everything, and that's his leg. So that's pretty obvious. There's two other, these are illustrations from. These are pretty much to size. He works A4 pencil, color pencil, but you know, when it gets down to it, these are just amazing comic book, styled, dark concept art. Barbarians, intergalactic, other worlds, just amazing stuff. So I'm really excited to be able to hang with him tonight. Find out more about what, actually, I know a lot about this book. We've been talking about it for a long time, but trying to pump it up for this evening so we can get more pre-orders. Right now, we're at 10 of the 30, so which is very awesome. If you're supporting us by doing that pre-order, thank you very much. That is a huge amount of help. But with that being said, oh yeah, and one other thing too, as a special additional offer, the cover that Drawn Sword did as one of the variant version covers will be live for the week. So it'll be live till the end of the 16th of October. So he's allowed this to come to be live and purchased, so you can add that to your order. So you could get both Scoundrel's Dread and a copy of Crom the Barbarian with Drawn Sword's cover on there. So, of course, this is 140 pages of black and white sword and sorcery goodness put together by myself, with stories by me in the beginning, prose illustrated with Gardner Fox and myself in the back, and in the middle, Gardner Fox and John Guenta. So with that being said, let's get to work, because we do have a lot of work. It's a lot of technical work, kind of enjoyable stuff. I have a lot of training in the airbrush arts, so I still try to hold tight to it because I just like the use of the textures and the such. But right now, because I'll be using black, white, and gray spray, Liquitex spray cans a little bit later. But right now, as I say in my little piece of paper, black sock here, one of my old ones. This is actually part of a technique I learned from a good friend of mine, Carlos Torres. He uses shirts. I don't know if socks specifically, but shirts, anything with a cloth and a texture, and then ink, and then makes things look like Zipatone. That's what he caught me on. But what I'm going to do here is move this. It's going to be a lot of. No, there you go. All right. So this is all gouache. That was the last thing I did, was a gray gouache. This is a Tombow black brush pen, which is water-based. So that got hit. It's got a bit of a texture. But as you can see, things are looking, other than here, pretty gray. It's things. So now I've got to start pushing and pulling. That's really what the game's all about. So one of the things I wanted to do was kind of make some noise in the rock texture here, because as gouache, it will reactivate with water. So all I'm doing is just like a sponge, using this sock to just give myself a little bit more of a rock technique on here. That's like that. Looking good. There you go. All right. That was just really all I wanted to do. Yeah. All right. That's all I wanted to do there. Next on the list, get my pen here. We did the wet sock. All right. Now we're going to get into some spray painting. Yep. All right. All right. So all I did was take another piece of 11 by 17 paper, and this is the first inking outline pass that I made, and just put a color screen, because I don't want to waste black as an ink on my printer, especially for something like this. I don't use a lot of red ink, as I've found over my times of work. And so this is just going to give us a cover. This too, I wanted to cover the ground because I'm pretty darn happy with the ground, which could be either sea or sand. All right. And all I did was just take an X-Acto blade. Let me clean up a couple of areas here. I'm just using this as a masking. Back in the day, you would use this, we call it frisket. It was a plastic sticky adhesive, and you would stick it down and kind of, oh my gosh. It was just, this alone took me almost 20 minutes. So, not a lot of quote unquote fun, because you're really just hitting this a little bit with it. This is not a lot of like detail. This is just more, going for texture. So one of the other things I wanted to do real quick, because I want to get a cosmic sky going. And so I have a thought, which is, where is that? Here it is. I'm just getting a little bit of white, white and water, white acrylic, a little bit of water. Since I have everybody, there we go. So I am going to move this out of the way because. Here we go. I want to get some stars. Here we go. Let's see if we can get out of here. And all I'm doing is this is an old paintbrush, and then just there you go. Boom. Now, that's nice and wet. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going with. I got to open the window. Because I don't want to spray myself to death here. Also have to grab a mask. So if you guys are doing this indoors, please wear a mask and get a window open for ventilation. There we go. Now all I'm going to do this is just to give a layer of black. All right. Now, trouble here is I have to actually let me. There you go. I gotta let that dry. So with that being said, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw another masking template and do start doing some white, just like that white disc. All right, I'm all set for the white. In the meantime, since I got to let this dry, what can we talk about? I cannot express enough excitement about getting Drawn Sword's work over here to the United States. I've been following Drawn Sword for close to over a year because we made connection. He started following the Turbo Pit Fighter channel, and so when people subscribe, and I can see their page, I then go to their YouTube page and see if they're doing anything. And sure enough, he had a video of him working and showing off some sketches, some drawings. I was just really, really super taken. He had a link to a website, his website, which is Drawn Sword Graphics. It's that blog. It's one of those old bloggers websites. So jumped over there, and of course he had a huge amount of work over there. And professionally he does these covers for extreme metal bands and stuff, but it's completely taken by him. So when I was starting to work on working on Crown the Barbarian, I had come up with the idea of getting some other artists involved. The first artist I got involved was David Molina. who I came to find on Instagram. And then the second artist I reached out to and asked if he would like to play in the Crumb the Barbarian sandbox was Drawn Sword, and he said yes. And of course, I got this amazing. He even gave a nice. You can really see the detail work. Very sharp pencils, different layers of like 2H to 2B to 4B to even like black color pencil, just, the light value of something further in the distance, using lighter pencils, just a master of this. So 6 months ago, he started teasing me when we were talking about some stuff on the Crom updates. And this Scoundrel's Dread was what he was talking about. So we then started talking about the idea of finding a way to get these books over to the United States to make it easier and cheaper in shipping. Because obviously, if they can bulk load, bulk ship the books to me, cover the printing costs and give him a little bit, then we'll be off and running. So 30 books of the 50, if we can cover that in pre-orders, we'll basically quote unquote break us at even, just to get them over here, and then 20 books will be that profit margin. But this is really, really, really exciting. Can't express enough in wanting to see this book in person. These are just printouts, so he gave me a couple of prints, a couple of images for me to print and use for promotional material, and it's just not enough to be able to see them all together in the book, because it's these are intergalactic barbarians after their prey, and it's just, I call it dark conceptual art. It's amazing how much depth is in his work, and he needs to be recognized more and more by the community here. And he is working on comic book too. Getting some pages, sword and sorcery art for the Crumb anthology. Let's see. What is that book? So with that being said, I think we might be okay. I think what I'm going to do is pat up some of this, which is all right. It goes with the effect. All right. So like I said, now I'm going to throw that white disc. And all I'm doing is covering everything. Back with the mask. Where did I put my mask? Here it is. Back with my mask. And then window's still open. So I'll let that layer dry. Hey, John Molina joined us over there on YouTube. Good morning to you, sir. Another Crom the Barbarian enthusiast. And by the way, brother too. Just talking about him. David Molina. What's new? Throw something in the comments while we let this disc orb of planetary sun type orb dry, so I can put another layer on there. All right. I'm really glad to keep that. Yeah, I think it's going to work. I mean, we can take a sneak peek. You can see, I'll probably hit it one more time Because after today, when I come back to this drawing, I will be using a lot of colored pencils, black, white, and gray colored pencils. So that will be pretty cool. All right. All right, let's do another hit. In fact, I'm going to bring it up here a bit. That's pretty good. It's a little bit darker. Definitely going to go one more time. But, so, just to keep everybody tuned in, I have a lot of work. So, Crown Anthology is coming. I am working ever so diligently to get pages, laid out. So, one of the stories I'm going to be taking and working from is a Gardner Fox Amazonia comic, which was in let's see, Erie issue 27, May 1970. So it was written by Gardner Fox. Miguel Fernandez was the pencil and inker. It's a when you read a Gardner Fox sword and sorcery, whether it's comic books or like Kothar and Kyrick and Nile of Far Travels, there are certain mechanisms he likes using, which I really do enjoy about his work. Time and space is one of them, which is a great help when you're trying to do what we're doing with Crom the Barbarian, from Barbarian Boy to Dark Brooding God. But I'm going to be transforming a lot of the elements or bringing it into the Crom fold, Amazonia, and this is going to be Lala. So Lala Amazonian Adventures is going to be this. There's 3 of these. Next one is Demon in the Crypt. I'm probably just going to be doing an ink version of that. This one. Then, and then Amazonia and the Eye of Azarias. So these are very important pieces that I'm integrating to the Crom stories that help in the mechanism of driving Crom the Barbarian Boy to the Dark Brooding God. So I'm going to be, right after I finish this pinup, I'll be going straight into layouts, because I have, I believe, 5 stories I can think of right now, and it's probably going to grow, that I'll be responsible for. Well, it's still to be determined. This is the pencils. Yeah, because I have another 1, 2, 3 stories that I have to pencil, and then the rest of them, like 6 stories to ink. So, got my work laid out for me. So I really got to start laying out these stories. So I'll be using these, panels, and then just riffing off of them to do my own version. And I also have a neat new approach that I want to use, which are smaller pieces of paper, then blowing them up to 8.5 by 11, and then giving a bit more detail, and then blowing them up finally to 13 by 17, because I'm going to be trying to keep the 8.5 by 11 printable size, and then be inking from there. So that's one. I'll be sharing a little bit more in a second because I want to hit this with white again. Okay, this will be the last time I do this. Cool. All right, that's it for that. Gotta cap everything. I'm gonna buy new caps. Let's get everything. Because I still have some spray painting to do because I'm going to be doing some gray mists next, tearing up some paper. So gotta let this dry. That's the business we're in when it comes to spray painting. Let's check on everybody. All right. All right. So 3, and then another story I'm going to be working on is using the basis of this 1941 comic called Dart Daring, and I'm going to turn it into Crom Daring. This will be a youthful Crom adventure. This will be some kind of like just him kind of like for the first time being away from the jungle is kind of what I'm thinking. And it starts off pretty like crazy. He's tied to the mast and everything. There's a couple of stories where foxes in his sword and sorcery stuff have people tied to masts and kind of means that they're possessed. So this was an old Edmond Legant, who was a Canadian comic book artist. And this was, I think, this ran for about 7 issues. This is issue 1, which I have broken into 3 parts. So, but I really want to keep, like, I'm going to really just work straight on top of these page compositions. I'm going to get rid of the text because I think I'm going to have it be more kind of silent with a little bit of like text to kind of push you along the story, sound effects, and just sort of like purpley prose stuff. So really looking forward to this. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Oh, here's one of the stories. This is another a Gardner Fox, Steve Hickman, phenomenal fantasy artist. Unfortunately, passed away a few years ago. Was able to meet him at IX, which is the imaginative realism, like the real deal guys and gals that do the realistic photo of not photo but fantasy art for like book covers and Dungeons and Dragons. But he gets on this ship and of course he's got a gal here who's tied to the mast. So a little tropey and stuff, but there's a lot of fun stuff in here. There's a story I just got permission to do a printing of, which is for the first time it'll be printed, which is a Lord Dunsany story. So I'll be sharing more about that as time goes on. But we need to get back to this. And you can see now, not bad. Not bad. Love that technique. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But I was going to do, just to get a feeling, I'm just figure this thing out here. And over there. And all right. Okay. So on my list was black, white paint flicking. I was going to do some gray paint flicking, but I'm not really worried about it this white and then the black hitting it, and then this is I'm pretty cool with. Then I just want to see something real quick with the gray, which is I'm going to miss the bottom. I'm just going to literally just hit it with a gray spray just to see the effect at this point. And this is really going to be it. Oh, these spray cans. The only problem is yeah, I'm going to have to change the cap. I don't know if I have another cap. Probably. Yeah, see, that's no good. That's no good. That might not be happening. Yeah, this cap's screwed. Yep. And then I'll use the black cap. One still worked. There you go. All right, we're down to one cap. Let's see something. I might have had this one might actually be good, but I'm gonna hold on to that. These I'm just gonna throw away right now. And then go to Amazon and make a purchase. After I get off here. All right, so as I was saying, here we go. Just perfect. Just wanted to kind of knock it out already. And doesn't mean I can't work anything on there, but all right. Well, the last thing is I'm going to be coming back to gouache, white to be specific, because I'm going to be doing some stuff on the lady's flesh. But we got to wait for this gray stuff. Shouldn't take too long. Too dry. This is all. Let me tell you, if you're thinking about getting into spray paint, be prepared. For the effect, costs you a lot in the way of time and cleanliness. So, but I like it. I found some other products that are pretty cool, but I haven't reached out to them yet. Oops. All right. Yeah, I'm really liking that orb. I don't know if I'm really going to do anything else to it. Yeah, because at this point, what my feeling is really the females have to come into their own. And as I said, there's going to be some color pencil textures. Then that gray mist again, because I do want to bring it up to about here. But be working on these gals as is. Maybe putting a little more. I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm thinking of even just kind of putting some like electricity, and that might come off like as some color pencils. But with that being said, let's just throw some white gouache over there um, flesh features, just to give us a separation from costuming and hair and such. Because her hair, well, Sierra's hair will get a lot darker. Accent and everything. Cool, cool. All right, here we go. Here we go. Get a nice small brush. This will work. I'm really going to water this down. Keep the so instead I want their bodies to have a celestial feel, definitely because of the the environment. Once again, it's nice. This is going to sink right into the gray, so it's really just an effect I'm looking for, and something to keep us separated from clothes and it's like a milky, really cool milky color here. And because it's gouache, a watercolor, you can also reanimate it later down the line. If I feel like there's too much. This is coming together nicely. That's not me, it's my neighbor cutting a board. It's a fun sound effect to be playing right now as I'm delicately sawing in some white gouache. All right. Little there. Oh, these fingers. So that's just like water, and it just pulls it right up. So nothing to be scared of. All right. Loving this. It's a piece of my mask. All right. All right. That is where we're going to leave it for today. That is exactly what my list had in store for me today. And I am really super excited about this. Because as I said, the things I'll be working on are stones, color pencil. A little bit of that is texture in clothes and wood. You know, like the handle, got some metal going on in there. A little bit more of this, but this is going to be a lot more in the solid at the end here. So this is really where I want it to be. Got a nice celestial clouding, got skies and everything. Got this whatever it is, sand or sea, we don't know yet. So had a good time. Thank you, James. Thank you, James, for allowing me to play around with my ink technique. The original drawing was done by James Anthony. It's called The Last Two, based on a story that he's working on comic book wise. If you're on Instagram, Shelob's Layer of Drawing is where you can find him and more of his work. So really excited. Looking forward to wrapping this up. Good chance tomorrow. There's going to be a good chance tomorrow. I'm going to be hitting this with a nice little color pencil action and some other stuff and everything. So, but other than that, I'm happy, and I hope you're happy. And we'll see you again. So thank you so much for spending time with me. If you're coming back on the replay and you've made it this far, can't say enough about having support this way. So it's really cool. Before I leave, John, how is the Kandahar? Yes, we have two. So David and I are working on a crown-centric story called The Last Dryad, and that is really coming along swimmingly. I believe we have 4 of the 8 pages laid out by David. I'll be doing the inking, and then Kromdahar is with Jason Schoonover, and he's working on page 2 pencil layouts, and just touch base with him. So we're going to be touching base on a Crom update, which, by the way, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and just jump to the channel and look for the updates with either one of them, and you'll see how that's coming along. But I'm working on a web page on CronTheBarbarian.com, which is going to have a lot of update information and the like. So yeah, it's gonna be great, because my goal is 400 page. Excuse me, 400. Jeez, 200 pages. So 200 pages, black and white, sword and sorcery, magazine size goodness. So once again, John and James, thank you so much for spending time with me today. And if you are coming in later, thank you. And we will see you again. Take care, everybody.